up, guys? It's Steve here, bringing you guys another series. This series is called The Mind Behind the Deck, or Deck Building, because I wanted to dedicate a series to some role strategies that I felt like was very powerful, and people just don't play them. And I feel like it would be better if we had so much more versatility in the format, because that means that there really won't be that much of a best deck. There'll probably be top 3 best decks instead of just there being just one deck that's just the dominant deck. And I say right now that's probably between like Shaddolls and Dragon Link, but that's only because Dragon Link was the winner on the ban list and it got the least amount of cards hit. Also, was the most powerful with the cards they could put out. And now that it got an extra deck lock, it just made it even more broken. And then Shaddolls is bad. It's busted because they could just out the whole board with Super Poly because they have broken cards like Super Poly in their main board. But I feel like Mekk-Knights is a very good contender because I think I only lost to one Shaddol variant, and that's like out of like 6 or 7. And I have played so many different Shaddol variants, and I won every matchup because this deck literally like auto win against that match. It don't care about all the summoning once per turn because we summon big beaters anyway. And if they ain't got Alistair to protect the window, then we just out it. Or if they do have it, we just find a way to out the window without without worrying about Alistair. I was thinking about putting some cards into here, and I'm gonna tell you to show you some cards and tell you the other cards I was thinking about putting in here. So let's get into the deck building strategy. So when I was building the deck, because we had got a new card, Gersu. He's the normal summon for Mekk-Knights. Essentially, he gives you your opponent's a monster on turn 1 and allows your Mekk-Knights to go off turn 1. So he's like the best normal summon because he could do so much. He could spin cards, he could send a card because he could go into Galatea. So he could do so much on just one normal summon. He's the best normal summon of the deck. So let's get into the other cards because I already did a deck profile for Mekk-Knights. It's kind of similar, but this is my updated build. So the normal summons you can run Perion. This card says if it's summoned, you could draw 1 card. It's not bad. It's really good actually, but it's just bad to draw a random card instead of just searching the cards. So that's why people play Sangan over Imperia, because Sangan could actually search your card. So you can search Ash Boss from DD Crow, any type of hand trap that's under 1500 attack, you could search it, which essentially does the same thing as Perion by thinning out your deck by 1 card, but you can actually search the card that you are actually looking for. And Sangan can search other cards like Santa Claus, which is a searchable kaiju because he's less than 1500 attack, and you contribute your opponent monster special summon him. So that's why people play Sangan over Imperial. Not normal summon people don't really play is Cap Shield. People play this at the beginning when it first came out, but it's not as good. Imperion is better because it gets the draw off the summon. So as soon as you summon this card, you draw. This card requires you to link it off for Fusion, XZ, or whatever you need to do, Synchro, to actually get that draw effect. For the last normal summon though, is Nightmare Corruptor Ibli. This card is a pseudo normal summon, I say, because this card locks your opponent out of special summoning. So if they don't have a link 1 monster that that's not link Karibo, because this card's level 2. So they gotta have something like not even Armor Rush. Armor Rush have to be a normal summon monster. So they have to actually have a link 1 Cyberse monster that they can actually play to get this card off the field. If not, they cannot special summon for the whole turn. And the reason why I say this card is pretty good, I say it's better than Imperion and Sangan, is because it hinders your opponent other than Sangan could possibly hinder your opponent. You can search a hand trap that you may or may not use. You can search a Santa Claus that you may or may not use. So Sangan is alright, but her effect is just guaranteed to lock your opponent out of special summon. So, and also when she's normal summon, she could summon back a link from your graveyard, but it has to be pointed to her, which is not bad because the links you play in your extra deck, a lot of them do point to the side. So she's not that bad at all. A reason why you don't play it because if she could bring back Lib, and Lib didn't require it to be a linked summon card to shuffle back 1, then she'd be busted. But since you can't just bring back the Lib to synchro, link it off to go into a bigger link play and then shuffle, that's the reason why it's not good in my eyes. And then when she hit the field, you have to be able to link summon. If you can't link summon, then you can't special summon. So That's for the normal summons. I'm going to go for the text. So the reason what I did is I decided to stick with Gersu because I wanted my deck to be more consistent. And I was testing Sangan originally, but Sangan I was finding myself with a lot of hands with either Sangan and Gersu, or 2 Gersus and 1 Sangan, and that's just horrible. That's horrible. Because you really need to see either 1 blue or 1 purple, or a way to get into your Mekk-Knight plays. So Gersu by itself can get you to what you need, but then that means you be knowing some of your Gersu over your Sangans. So I was knowing some of Gersu over Sangan most of the time, or I was testing Sangan most of the time. If I was doing Sangan, I was just testing to see how it would do. But a lot of times I found myself needing this Santa Claus card because I could just out my opponent board without it. And cards is not in the format like VFD and stuff like that, or cards that just can't be targeted. Besides, Dragoon is not too much of an issue in this deck because it's cards you could get over with, and it's not like he hindered you. Another card you could play is Forbidden Droplets, but I don't play this because it requires you to send a card, and it's alright to send some Mekk-Knight cards, but not all of them. There's probably like 1 or 2 cards in your deck that you want to send. So this card can literally hinder you, and on top of that, it just negates a monster in half the attack and defense, which the half the attack and defense is good and the non-target, but you don't want to send any extra resources that you need because Mekk-Knights need every resource that they can have. So I don't feel like Droplets is the best one to run. That's why I actually side Dark Rule No More, because Dark Rule No More doesn't require anything from you. You just can attack your opponent a turn for damage. Another staple I don't play is Regeki, because you need cards and columns. So that means you need your opponent to have either spell traps or monsters on the field. And you blow up the monsters, and the only thing they have with monsters. And I don't like putting my cards in the same columns of my opponent's spell and traps because they know that you're playing Mekk-Knights. As soon as you set a card, they could just activate that card. I'm recording a video right now. So you need your opponent to have cards on the field to play. So I don't think this is a good card to be trying to run in the main. That's why I don't main Lightning Storms either, because Lightning Storm essentially hurts you more than it can really help you. 10-point landing. People play this, but then you have to see this and the Mekk-Knight, which is not bad. It's just the only difference is, it's just that if you open up 2 of this and no Mekk-Knight, then you have no play. So you have to play multiple of the 10-point landings just to get 1 draw. And then if you want to worry about drawing so bad, you can just play Empyrean over this card. So it's a card for a spell trap to set, but you have other better spell traps to set. A card I actually want to throw in my main deck, and because Droll hurts you so bad with the Mekk-Knight deck, because you do so much searching, so you need to play at least 1 callback grade. At least that's what I feel. So I gotta make room for it. I just can't make room for it right now. I'm at like 41 cards, and I really don't want to go over that. Another card you can play is Herald of the Abyss. It's a normal spell. You can set it, then you can activate it. It pays 1,500 life points, so it's like a solemn strike. It's just not a counter trap, which is bad. And also on top of that, it sends the monster where you really don't have issues with monsters too much, because you got cards in your extra deck to beat those cards over. Upstart Goblin, it's pretty good, but it'll help you lose the draw, so that's why I don't play it. Another card I couldn't find was the Mekk-Knight field spell. You don't play that because people play so many hand traps, and you try to play that build going around along that route in your combo, then you can't go into your traps or your spells because you're too busy searching other cards to get splash all your Mekk-Knights to the grave. And that's not good for the grind game, so that's why I don't play that. For traps, you can play D-Barrier. I mean, you decided you're not like you use any of these cards on here anyway, really. You only use XZs, and that's for the Gersu. But everything else you link. So it's a pretty good card. Another card I was thinking about playing in here was Soul Drain in the side. These cards definitely be in the side, not in the main. But cause Soul Drain, a lot of cards activate from grade. You don't care too much about the deck or the extra deck too much. You just care about they activating their cards and grades, because that's how they out-resource you. It's Soul Drain with the cards and grade. This only stops your World Legacy monster from activating, so it's pretty good. It just hindered that 1 card. If you play this card, I'd probably say you probably play World Legacy Armor instead of playing the World Legacy Chalice. Another card I need to throw in my side, I just gotta find room for it. Waking the Dragon. They found that you're playing Mekk-Knights, you set this card, they pop it, now you got a free monster. You can slam it into the extra monster zone to still give you an extra column. So it's not bad. It's very good, actually. A good bait card for Mekk-Knights. So those cards I want to play in the main. Another card I wanted to play was, what was the other card I was going to play in the main? I just had it in my head, but I forgot. Call by Grave, really the only card I really want to put in here. But, that's only because Drove. There's no way you can stop Drove. So, I'm going to show you the cards I do play. I play the Gersu's, the 3. Obviously, this is your normal summon. This is the main one you want to see. It's searchable. Very searchable in this deck, actually. So, you don't necessarily need an additional normal summon. Play 3 blue. If you play Pure Mekk-Knights, you play 3. Pure Mekk-Knights is the best Mekk-Knight variant to me because Mekk-Knights have more of a grind game by themselves. When you play with the Invoke, you cut a lot of the good Mekk-Knight cards out to play the Invoke stuff. Invoke is pretty decent in grind games, but that's only if you could get your effects. If you're not hand trapped not one time, then you be fine. But if you get Ash one time, it slows you down the whole turn. So I feel like Mekk-Knights is the best version to play. The Pure 1 versions to play because they so powerful and they slam themselves down so fast. Your opponent barely have a chance to interact before you try to go in the battle phase and kill their monsters. And this card right here, because I hadn't in the tournament searched up the 3 cards and won a duel because searching 3 Mekk-Knights is pretty busted, especially if you search a purple and then one of your opponent's monster or spell or traps. So the board breakers. Another board breaker right here. He's the quick effect to target any of your Mekk-Knight cards to banish them so you can search. This is the card you want to use on field, but keep on field because you can banish it on your opponent's turn as well, just to get additional search. So you can search on your turn and your opponent's turn with this card. This card is busted. It's 25 attack, and with the field spell, you can bump it to 28. I was thinking about just playing the field spell because you have a draw effect on there, but it conflicts with Pot of Prosperity, but I don't see, if I play the field spell, I'll play that 1. So that it don't conflict with Pot of Prosperity. But, because it's a draw power. But anyway, back to Mekk-Knights, I play Indigo, Eclipse, 2 of them. Because you have 1 out, you can negate 2 cards, and then you summon out the 3rd one, that's 3, and then you move the 2nd one, because they soft ones per turn. So you can move both of them. And that's 4 negates you can get in 1 turn. And it's not hard, because you just need to open up the trap of Indigo and the other spell to summon from the deck. For the 1-ofs, I only play yellow and red. And my other builds, I'll test in orange and green. Orange and green is not bad, but since I was playing in a more competitive tournament, I needed to cut the orange and green for hand traps. So I cut the orange and the green for Skullmeister because I don't want any gray cards in gray to get the effects off. The hardest matchup to me is either Prey Kids or Eldritch, and a lot of those cards get cards, activate cards in Graveyard. So you just hit them with Skullmeister. And Skullmeister not once per turn. Last of the World Legacy size Mekk-Knight cards. You send this to the grave. On your next turn, you banish it to search any World Legacy spell trap. Broken card, and it's a perfect follow-up for the next turn. For the World Legacy spells, you play Memories. This helps get you Indigo out the deck, so you get extra negates, or you get Purple out, so you can start your Mekk-Knight plays, or you can even summon out Gersu. So it's pretty busted. Quick effect spell. It summons all your Mekk-Knight in defense position though, so keep that in mind. World Legacy Succession. I only play 1 because it's searchable. You can set it from the deck. No reason to play more, because if you play more, that means you probably open up 1 and then you have to steal it. It's a hard one per turn. You're going to guarantee the probably, if you go full combo with no interruptions, you can activate this card during that turn. And then if you play multiple, then you have 2. You open up 2, you're going to use 1 of them. The other card's the dead card. World Legacy Key, a card I was actually thinking about bumping up to 2 because I played against Heroes and he banished half my deck. I almost won that game, but we went to time game 3. So only thing I needed was this card to resolve, but he Cosmic Cycloned it. So with this card would resolve, I won the duel. because I would have got any Mekk-Knight that he banished off the Dark Law back, and then I would have summoned it and beat over Dark Law. Or I would have just linked it to something that could spare his Dark Law back. For the last of the World Legacies, you play the one Spell Trap Negator, the Monster Negator. I said Spell Trap Negator. This is the Spell Negator, this is the Monster Negator, this is the Trap Negator. So, this bring back one of your level 5 monsters from the grave. You don't have to be a Mekk-Knight. It could be any one of your level 5s, Lancier, Scythe. So it's pretty decent. And this card just boosts the stats of one Mekk-Knight that's level 5 or higher for 5,000. Alright, let's get to the other spells. The generic spells that just busted in this deck is Pot of Prosperity. This card is the best card in the deck because the deck is already consistent since Gersu was a Mekk-Knight monster. And the spell could summon him from the deck. So now you have another spell that could literally grab Gersu or grab any Mekk-Knight with your Gersu to give you full combo. And you don't worry about half damage because all your monsters big and beefy anyway. So half of 25 that's beating into 22. I mean, not 22. I said 22. But half of 25. That's not half 20. 25 being to any monster that's less than 2,000 is still a decent amount of damage. It's like 200 to 300 effect damage. So it's not that bad. And if they monsters even weaker than 2K, which a lot of monsters are weaker than 2K, you still gonna do about 5 to 1,000 damage. So it's pretty decent. Or you could just go battle phase first, then attack with your Mekk-Knights, then activate this card. So that's why this card is so broken, because your Mekk-Knights by itself is your play. So you summon purple, attack with purple, get some damage off, then activate this card, go full combo. It's powerful. I done did that so many times in the tournament. My opponent couldn't do nothing about it. It just take the damage and then watch me combo. Cosmic Cyclones. This is the card I did not have in the main deck. This card is broken. This card I would replace for Lightning Storms because this card snipes. It's like a sniper. If you good at picking out the perfect targets that's gonna hinder you, then this card is the god card for you because you could actually hit the elixirs or the golden lands before they could actually pop one of your cards on field. And it's a quick effect, so you activate it from the hand during any time on your turn and on your opponent's turn if you set it. So this card did not play. You need to see your deck. The only matchup I did lose to was the Elders matchup and a Prank Kid matchup. And Cosmic Cyclone is busted against both of those decks, and I did not main it. So I sided 2 of them, but I put 3 into the main. This card right here is your Mind Control. So if you have Pot of Prosperity, you can always just rip a card from your opponent's hand, which is devastating. Or you can just take control of your opponent's monster with your beefy Mekk-Knights and kill them for game. Especially people who play Dragoon. I remember when I first tested up this deck, I would play against a lot of people who was playing Dragoon. And this card was the god card. This card literally won me a whole round by itself. Because my opponent activated Dragoon or Mekka, I just took their monster and beat into them with their own Mekka and Mekk-Knight and then linked them off into my own plays. So this card is pretty busted. It's a normal spell too, so you summon your Mekk-Knights. I said one of them. Normal spell, it destroys back row, so you do want to have the option to nuke all back row. And I remember one game I top decked this card against a Shadal Invoke player, and it just won me the game because I just blew his back row away. And then I played because I can make my own column with Gersus. I don't need any cards in my opponent's field sometimes. For the hand traps, I played 3 in Perm. To me, it's the best hand trap right now because Calamity's gone. Calamity, it was good against Calamities. It's just the fact that they go double Calamities. It's likely that you're not going to open up both of these. So you have to find another way to out those cards. So you have to take these cards out. This card is not bad. It's just bad against cards like Dragoon. And if Dragoon is on the board, then you just use triple attacks or some other way to out it. You have ways in the extra deck. I'm going to just get to those shortly. Just get past the hand traps. The 3 Skullmonsters, I didn't play these either in the main. I ended up incorporating these 3 and Cosmic Cyclones into the main. That's because I was testing out Sangan and stuff, and like a couple other cards like hand traps. But these are better to me, I think. And I feel like if I take this to the locals, I think I should be able to top, if not win the entire event, because this deck the cards that I play in here is devastating. 2 Ash, and then for the last of the cards, which is pseudo hand traps, is 2 Wind Kaijus for the Wind Barrier deck. You don't want to lose to the Wind Barrier statue, so you want to Kaiju their monster. So I main 2 Kaijus. So essentially I play like what, 4, 7, what's the name, 11 hand traps in the main. It's pretty busted. Extra deck, I play 3 Libs. This is the main link monster you want to go into, because it's just out cards without targeting. So you can spin back a card, you most likely get game. And to incorporate those are the Mekk-Knights. Morningstar, I cut Secure Gardener, because after you go into this, you always end up linking her off anyway to something else. And you don't, and so I'll be taking the space for Secure Gardener if I could just link it off into Morningstar. Or link her off into Avermax with Morningstar. And then bring back my Morningstar. So it's pretty good, because you just go into her, make another link too, link her off with the another link too, go into Avermax, and the World Legacy Succession that you set off of her after you go into Avermax, use that to bring back your Morningstar from the grave. And your Morningstar will protect your Avermax from battle for any monster that's not in the same column, so it cannot be destroyed by battle. Then on top of that, it cannot be destroyed by card effect. Then on top of that, it cannot be targeted. Also, on top of that, when it leaves the field, it's going to spin one of your opponent's cards back. So it's pretty good. It's a pretty good lock. For the next card, I play 1 Nightmare Unicorn, 1 IP Masquerader, because you could link it to your Avermax with this as well and make it indestructible by card effects. Even though I'm pretty sure it is already indestructible by card. No, I think it can be destroyed by card effect. It just can't be targeted. Another card that can be targeted or destroyed by card effects if you use a Mekk-Knight monster, pretty much, other than Blue and Gersu, because all the other ones are level 5 or level 7 higher. So your Behemoth that can be affected, pretty much. I mean, Forbidden Droplets could definitely hit him and lower his attack, but you can also boost his attack too. I play Omega because Dogmatica. I played against Dogmatica and they kept sending my extra deck cards. I ended up winning that match because he couldn't out my Floodgates, and my Floodgate was just preventing him from playing. So this card, I put this in just in case they send my cards. This card always give my Morningstar back, so I can always keep playing in my deck. So just shuffle one of my extra deck cards back into himself, and then they dump it again. I just do it all over again. So the card I did not play, I should have been playing this because I was able to go into the Gersu. Like with Gersu, if they negate everything you throw out except for Gersu, and then Gersu your last line of play, you could go to Gersu, go into Dingirsu, then attack, and then slap him on top of Dingirsu. So this is a God card. Why not play your God card? I could sit in your whole entire board. It's just so good. So I felt like it wouldn't have to be a spot in here for this card because you do play an XZ monster. And on one XZ monster you do play. So easy to get into. It's guaranteed to get into almost any game if you want to. So if you want to just start off your turn by going to Gersu and Dingirsu and then going to what's the name, it's good. Also, you gotta keep in mind with these two cards, is Gersu is a dark machine. Well, a machine don't really matter if it's dark or not, because she shuffled back banished machines and he equipped banished machines. So you could always equip your World Legacy arm or shuffle it back into the deck with Galatea, or you could equip the Dingirsu, Mekk-Knight from the banished area, or you could shuffle it back into the deck. So mainly I would probably just shuffle the Gersu back into the deck off of Galatea's, and I will equip the World Legacy card to this so I can put it back engraved for my following turn for a Lib. So I could just shuffle another card back. So it's like a train that once it gets going, it's hard to stop. Unless you really know how to play against this deck. I beat so many people because they didn't know how Mekk-Knight played. And you be like, wow, they don't know how Mekk-Knight plays? Mekk-Knight's been out for so long. Yeah, people don't know how to play against Mekk-Knights. It surprised me. I didn't think I was going to win. How I've been winning, but it made me love the deck, how I play. But for the last of the Mekk-Knight monsters, Mekk-Knight Crusader Avermax, this card says you cannot attack none of my monsters but him. And if he attack a special summon monster, he gains that monster's attack. Look at your mini Bulbasaur right here. It's just so broken with this card and more on the star on the field. Because then you can't kill him by battle or card effects. He's just going to sit on the field. And then every turn he's going to attack you for 3k. Because he's going to gain your special summon monster's effect. Or being attacked. So, it's pretty busted. This card says he can attack directly. It's a 3k beater. And it can be destroyed by card effects or targeted. So, it's a good link to go into. If you know your opponent got back row, he's the best card to go into when you're playing against back row. Because they can't target it, they can't destroy it. So, unless they banish it without targeting, which is hard for traps to do, they probably need like something like evenly match. But then again, you just leave him on the board by himself, and he's just broken. And then on top of that, he can send any card in his column on my side of the field to grade to summon a Mekk-Knight from the deck in defense position. So he's a purple. He gets you to purple, blue, whatever you need to get to. For the last card in the extra, you play 1 Link Karibo because of Gersu summon a level 1 token. You don't need this. You only need this because you need to go into Galatea. And Galatea requires 2 effect monsters, while your Mekk-Knight Link monster only requires a Mekk-Knight monster and another monster. The other monster could be a token. So it's fine to have the token. So if you know you don't want to play in Nebrew, don't go into Link Karibo. You don't have to go into him unless you go into Galatea. If you go into Galatea, then you have to go into Link Karibo. But if not, Gersu uses a secondary effect. A lot of people don't know Gersu has a secondary effect that gives you a token and your opponent a token. And they don't understand how that could play against them, especially when you start summoning blue down and searching more Mekk-Knights. And then you already have purple in hand, so you're searching yellow, indigo, anything that's going to hinder your opponent from playing. So, I feel like this is like the best build for Mekk-Knights right now. And I've been testing it for like 2 weeks now. I'm going to show you guys some replays in the next clip. So when I go to the shop, I'm going to record and go to the next time I go to locals. So whatever shop I go to. Because we have 4 different locals in our city. We got Gaming Goats. We have Gamer World. We have Emporium TCG. And we have Top Cut Comments. I'm pretty sure we probably might have another one, but I don't remember the name of it. But the only ones I go to is Top Cut. So I'll probably have another video me going to different locals. Because I'm going to try the Tinley Park Gaming Goats. But yeah, that's the deck profile. I'm going to show you guys the side right fast. So for the side, this is what I play on the side. 3 lands here. It kills Eldritch for a turn. This also kills Dragon Link for a turn. This also kills Shadows for a turn. This hand trap is broken against everything. Phantom Knights, anything that requires you to banish is broken against. It's even kind of broken against Mekk-Knights because if your Mekk-Knight's going to destroy your opponent's field with their card effects, you have to banish Mekk-Knights from your grave. Unless it says no. So, Dark Rule No More. This don't require anything or your extra resources, just end as a normal spell so it could get you a play to start. And I say this is better against Dragon Link. I wouldn't put this in against anybody else. You could play through 1 Negator. It's not hard. You can either beat over it or you could just play through it, bait the negate, pray you got triple tax. If not, just pray you got a way to keep going. But it's not hard to keep going in this deck. It's very easy. Evenly matched because I think this is the most skillful card because you can set this card and then your opponent, if they out on your board and they don't get rid of this card or you keep this card in your hand, you can just evenly match them. They don't kill you. And this can essentially give you the whole game back because your purple banish on your turn or your opponent's turn. So you could, as a quick effect, you could out your own purple to banish it and then bring it back on the standby phase after you done resolve evenly match and took apart half your opponent or most of your opponent's board. So it's pretty good. I feel like it's more of a skill card, especially in this deck, and it's a normal trap. I wouldn't play Lightning Storm because it requires you to have no face-up cards, and you play a lot of continuous cards in your deck that you want to have. So, Golden Match, you play mostly lights. You have darks too, very few darks, but you don't summon them too much. You summon mainly light monsters, and a lot of your light monsters in your extra deck are lights too. So it doesn't really hurt you, but it hurts your opponent. And then for the last in the hand traps, I play 3 Phantasman because it helps fix your hand. It also give you another B-stick on the field, and it stop your B-sticks from being targeted. So if they would try to target to destroy you or something, you could just out it. or they try to target to negate it when imperm negated. So it's just pretty good. So that's it for the side. Let me know what you will change in the build and how y'all like the build. Stay tuned for more content. I'm gonna have more videos for you guys. This is a new series, by the way. Let me know how y'all like it. Y'all have a blessed day. What's up, guys? Steve here bringing y'all an updated profile for the Mekk-Knights. I just played a full day Yu-Gi-Oh yesterday. Played at 2 locals at Gaming Goats in Tinley Park. And I topped both tournaments with Mekk-Knights. So I'm just gonna show you guys the current build right quick. So for the main monster, I played 3 Gersu, your main normal summon. This guy by himself gives you a column going first because he gives your opponent a token, which gives your opponent a monster, so you can resolve your blue going first. And on top of that, he can pitch a World Legacy card, which helps for the next turn. Because you pitch Challenge and banish it for next turn. 3 blue. This guy, he searches up to 2, up to 3 I mean, depending on how many cards in the column. A lot of people don't chain their cards to him, which is good for me because that means I still get the out the number of searches. And a lot of times yesterday I was searching for 2, and that would just help me in games. I had like a few misplays yesterday, but I still able to top 4 in the first locals, and then I topped 3rd in the second locals. Purple. This is the best one because you could banish another Mekk-Knight and then keep him on field, and then on your opponent's turn, banish yourself, and then you have 2 searches. And also on the standby phase, he bring himself and the other Mekk-Knight back. So I played 2 of the movie boy. I've been off and on with putting him to 1, but I've been noticing that if you do open up a Mekk-Knight with a World Legacy card, you can essentially still have a combo because you can search the memories, and then he'd be already put in graves for the trap. And it's good to have one in the deck so you can summon one from the deck off the quick play. For the one-offs, I only play these 2. I didn't play 3. I didn't need a grind game because if I grind, you could grind without green, but it's better to grind with green. I just couldn't find any space for green, so I was putting other cards in like hand traps and stuff. This was a hand trap heavy build. I was testing with hand traps, and now I'm gonna test with going second cards because I feel like going second cards, since I want to go second, is better than going having hand traps and then open up your hand traps for your 6th card when that could have been a going second card that could out your opponent board. So that's why I'm thinking about dropping hand traps altogether. So these are the only 2 I play. This is broken. I probably could have won some games with green if I had them in the deck, because I could have just searched them, tagged, and got one of my ones back from grave. So I'm gonna try to make room for it. My fault. The 1 World Legacy, this is the only one I play. I was thinking about playing the other one because it gives you more options. Because you have this in hand, if you get both engraved, you can use the other one to bring back to search, and then you can banish it for the following turn. So you get 2 searches of World Legacy spell if you play 2. But if you play just this one, you just search on the next turn. I never used the field effect though. I use 3 of the memories. And the memory summons the Mekk-Knight from the deck in defense position. Remember that. So he can summon Gersu and all the other stuff. For Succession, I play 1 Succession, 1 key. Add a banish and stop traps. And just my 3 born. That's searchable. Play 2 of the secrets and 1 whispers. I don't have a 3rd secrets, but the second one always come up. It's rare for them to even out my first one. So if I don't think 3 is necessary. I've just been playing it and having good success with 2, because if they out 1 on the next turn, just search the other one, and they have to find a way to out it again. And If I searched it with that one, I probably already have the secrets of the whispers or the legacy key. Okay. For hand traps, I played. Well, I call this a hand trap because you get rid of cards from your hand with this kaiju. And it came up clutch against the barrier statue deck. I played against the Tri-Brigade Lyrics. Like, I played against 4 of those. I played against 2 Eldritch. I'm like 1 for 1 with the Eldritch. And the only game I lost yesterday was the Eldritch. The other games, I tied both my games with the Orcus Mekk-Knight player. And I tied a game with, I forgot what other game I tied. I think it was a Tri-Brigade deck. We tied. But yeah, them only losses I had yesterday. So I only had 1 loss yesterday, and that was to the I braked. I didn't open up the first game. I didn't open up no Mekk-Knight, no blue, no memory, no Gersu, no purple. Only thing I had was this movie boy and no other card, War Legacy card. So I couldn't make no plays. And then on top of that, the guy played Mekk-Knights, so he knew how to play against the deck very good. So that just made it harder for me. When people don't know how to play against the deck, it makes it super easy for me to win. So, good dollar. I played 2 droves. I didn't really use this yesterday. I don't think I used this at all yesterday. And I played against heroes and all other different type of decks. I played against dragons. I think I did play against a Dragon Link deck. And I played against I forgot the name of it. I think it was the Dogmatica, and there was another deck. I forget what it was. I didn't use this card yesterday. Yesterday though. Skullmaster, this card came up. I was thinking about bumping it to 3. This is the hand trap that we do kind of need because Mekk-Knights cannot stop cards in grave. And if your opponent have cards that act in grave, then they could probably potentially out-resource you or just out your cards. And I like it for the mirror match because if they try to live you, you could Skullmaster it. So I'm real skeptical on cutting this card because you need to hit cards in the grave because you can't do it on your own within your deck. So Ash, this card was kind of how would I say, overrated because I don't think I used this card. Like, I think I probably used it 1 time yesterday. Didn't need it though, and a lot of times I was making sure my opponent makes a board and then I just break it because I just look at my hand, but okay, I could possibly break this board. 2 nibs. This card was an MVP. This hand trap was MVP yesterday because I could have won a matchup by a shotgun my Nibiru. That's the only game I really lost. But then I won the other ones. So I think I drew against that guy actually. Yeah, I drew against him. That was the Orcus player. So I drawed against him, but I could have won that game 1 if I didn't nib him. The only thing he had was IP, and I forgot he didn't have the field spell. So I was like, yeah, nib. And that's why I misplayed that because he went access code talker on his following turn. Even though I floodgated him, and then if he would have access code talker, popped my cards before he went to battle, I could have nailed him. Instead, I wasted on the IP that I could have just beat over. It was a dead IP. So I played 3 imperms, the best hand trap. I've been imperming everybody on their turns because it's not a monster effect, so I'm not worried about triple attacks. I didn't get hit by no triple attacks yesterday. Pot of Prosperities. A lot of times people think this card conflicts with this card. It don't. This card has 3 different effects, and each one of them is very devastating to your opponent. Because I took my opponent monster 1 turn, and then linked it off into my Mekk-Knight link, and plus myself. And then I tossed. Another time I drew 2 with this card, and I drew 1 Prosperity and another card. So I couldn't activate the Prosperity because I drew that turn. But it was still devastating because I drew, the other card was the card this the little card for push for damage that I needed. And since I couldn't activate Prosperity, that didn't really hurt me because I have Mekk-Knights. So I summon big bodies and I just gonna attack them. And the last card in the main, Cosmic Cyclone. This card did not want to find me yesterday. I don't know why. I think I seen this card like twice against matchups I didn't need to sit against. But when it came down to the Eldritch matchup, I think I seen 1 of them, and I think I ended up setting it, and they ended up getting popped. So yeah, he had Cosmic, so he cosmic my Cosmic. But yeah, that's it for me. For the extra, some cards gonna get taken out. Probably Zeus probably get taken out because a lot of decks I was playing against yesterday, I didn't really need this card against them. And this card kind of hurts you because it sends your cards, but it also could help you too because if you have too many zone spells up, because I had 2 of the secrets, the key and the whispers on field, and I had Zeus, I had summoned Zeus, and I had another, I think Mekk-Knight to move. I think he went to SS code to pop some stuff, and then he popped this, and I didn't use the effect because he didn't have enough to kill me. So I did not send my field spells, but my purple came back on the next turn, and since my floodgates was still up, my purple came back to the right column to negate his monster, and then I just continued to play from there because he couldn't activate because I kept my floodgates. But if I would have sent my floodgates, I would have lost that matchup. So I'm probably gonna cut him. He's not needed. You only use him because of Ding, and you can hard make Ding or you can make it with Galatea. So Ding, Galatea. Oh shoot. For the I was playing 3 of this guy. I was only playing 2. I'll probably go back to 2 because I need to make some space, but I will see about it. So yeah, I didn't need 3. I only went to like 2 of them at the most before the game was over. Then you got the one guy, you use if you try to go to him, and then you go into if you go into him and then you use purple to banish him, that's like one of the strongest plays because you can banish him and then purple stay on field, and then your opponent turn purple banish himself, and then you can bring him back to a column that has nothing in it, so he can attack directly. So it's kind of busted. Another Mekk-Knight that's busted. He still, your opponent cannot attack any of your monsters but him. He's very hard to get over if you make him IP. So Link Spider, cause tokens, and a Dino token. Even though I played Link Rebo, I just want to have an extra out. Or if I Nibiru. Also a Blacklist Soldier, standard. Most people play this in this deck. Link Rebo, as I said. I played 3 libs. I wouldn't cut this card. This card was mandatory. I'm gonna put Secure Gardener back in, because Secure Gardener, I forget all about the you can't take damage and stuff. So that card is pretty good, especially in time. Especially if you can't get her link her off with an additional monster, just go Secure Gardener and spend something away, and then you protect it from battle from Secure Gardener. So yeah. IP Masquerena, it's pretty decent in here. I don't know if I would cut it. I doubt I would cut it, because you could just use this to make the Abramax, the blue boy, or you can make a Galatea, or you could make a, excuse me, you can make a Galatea, you can make a BLS link. I would think about putting Chaos Goddess of the Underworld in here, so I'm thinking about putting that in here, so she might not get cut just because of that, because she's too strong with Chaos Goddess of the Underworld. And then you got the Tasman. This, I was thinking about putting this in the main. I would probably throw it in the main at 2 and then just cut it from the extra deck, from the side deck, because a lot of people went into links yesterday. And when I sided this card, it was pretty decent. And on top of that, if you draw Positive Prosperity off this card, you can just put it back. But then at the same time, you can keep the Positive Prosperity because it's not like you're using it on your turn. You're going to use this on your opponent's turn most likely. And then when your turn comes, you get the Prosperity, then you use Prosperity. So it's kind of broken. It don't really conflict with Prosperity unless they're playing Orcus and summoning links on your turn, which is not likely. Because the Orcus player did never get to his field spell. I don't know if he even played the field spell. But yeah. This is another common thing about mana. I'm a mana at 3. So I misplayed. I literally threw a game because I forgot. The game I lost against the Eldritch player, I had this and I had blue in hand, and I forgot you could set this card. I'm so used to just playing spell and traps and setting them, and not setting hand traps. I forgot artifacts could be set in the damn column of spell and traps, and I could have activated my blue because he had no traps on the field. He just had a Golden Boy and a Zeus that was already exhausted of materials, and I could have easily summoned blue and came right back, but misplay. I was playing all day, so my brain was not even working right. But yeah, I'm putting this in the main. I'm putting this in the main too, because I just want to have more strong going second cards, and I don't want auto lose, because I did auto lose to my very first game against my first bird up player because he had activated, he had went full combo, and I had imperm, but you can't imperm what's the name underneath the sword, so my imperm is kind of dead. So that's why I'm gonna probably put this in here, so I have this and imperm. Imperm can be used on my opponent's turn. This could be used on my turn. And it's a normal spell. This is not once per turn, just like imperm is not once per turn. This card is skeptical. I was thinking about throwing it in the main, but it's not good going first. I mean, you can set it and go and pass, but if you get OTK, it does nothing for you. Or if they pop it before battle phase, it does nothing for you. So I'll probably keep this on the side. No, I'm going to keep this inside. And for the last card, I'm going to keep this inside too, because it's won me so many games. I opened up this in secrets, and I literally won my last, I think, matchup against the bird up player. He had, he made me go first, and I opened up 3 golden magics. And he had Cosmic, he popped, I think, he got rid of one of them, but I had 2 more. So it didn't really matter. But that's it for profile. I didn't want to make it too long, but I know I ended up making it long anyway. Just displaying the cards I played while I played them. But yeah, stay tuned. I'll show you guys the last build from Mekk-Knights for the series. Y'all have a blessed day. Stay safe.